Alright, I think we're going live now. Welcome to the back to the Booga live stream. It's Wednesday, small project night. And it's like May 12th, I think. Yeah. My day's been a little screwed up here lately. But hopefully everybody gets notices if you catch this stream later and you're not getting notices of the live stream coming available. There's some notifications and stuff you can get. You can find us on Twitch and YouTube. You can follow us there too, so you can get set up to get notifications on those also. So tonight, since it's small project night, going with another bracelet weave that I haven't done before. It's called Ocean Waves. I thought I'd done it before, something called Ocean Waves. It might have been somebody's name for it. It might have been Tidal Wave. I'm not sure. I didn't look that up today. I spent a little time this morning trying to figure out what I was going to do tonight. Wanted to use some specific colors. More, I wanted to use this Midnight. It's like a very deep purplish black. I don't know if I can get real close. I'm not sure. You can kind of see it. Kind of changes colors. Looks really cool in the sun. But it's a deep purple. And then we're going to use, what do they call this? Totally Rad Pink. Got some of it. Definitely, it's more different-ish pink than the others. Kind of rad, I guess. Kind of 80s pink, I guess, maybe. So that's what we're going to be, well, and some silver, obviously, for connecting. Connectors. When I looked it up, they had a specific size that they were using on it, and I'm like, I don't have those sizes. So I kind of worked out the ARs and real quick, and I think this is going to work. So we'll kind of start piecing it together, and hopefully it'll work. I also got out some square in case we get further along in this and still have time for the stream. I might try a square version of it. Kind of did the same thing, I'm guessing, on sizing and all that. So it might not work. This should, though. This, for the round ring, should. Square is always a little different because they are square. So, I'm just going to start digging in here and start working on them. Hope everybody's having a good Wednesday. Middle of the week. Ready for that weekend to get here. I need to take off my hat again. Keep forgetting. So I can get a little closer. Not disrupting anything. Yeah, because I still haven't got the notification on my phone that I've gone live yet. So if you guys are watching later and want to catch the actual live streams, I need to probably start posting reminders up there to let everybody know that I'll be streaming, or put a schedule up. Like I said, I plan on doing Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Been a little screwed up last week and a little bit this week, but you know, hopefully things will smooth out. We had the problem last week with just, I was in the school's DVDs for the band and got into that, so, and then Boomer's problem beginning of this week, and still hits, but you know, I'm definitely feeling a bit better today. I can tell, though, that Buzzard, I think, is starting to realize something's up. I think Marvel did yesterday, and Buzz, I think, is kind of figuring out today. He's kind of looked around in Boomer's normal spots and is not finding him, so he's unsure of what to think. I hate these. But we should be getting back to normal now. We'll be back on tomorrow night too, for the large project night, which will be the last week of it, because I should get Friday or Saturday, I should get my rings for the next big inlay I want to do, and we'll get started on it. It's kind of a first for me. Hopefully it comes out okay. We'll see. It's a different type of inlay than I've done before. And I'm not going to announce what it is right off the bat. I want to work on it a little bit. But I've talked about it before, so if you've watched any of the streams, you might know kind of an idea of what it is. But I guess after a few weeks, you should be able to start giving a better idea what it is, and I can start saying what it is. Right now, I'm just going ahead and pre-closing some of these small ones. The way it looks like it goes together anyway. My plan anyway of putting it together calls for these just to be closed up, so I could just do them when I need them, but I figure I might as well just go ahead and get a little group of them going. I imagine it's going to be another fairly quick one, at least just gauging off of what I've done before with the ring, how many rings there is, and we'll see. I mean, I could change it up on occasion. I do, depending on how everything feels, what I think will be quicker and what might be easier. But I think these will be easier to do, and I'll have less attempts at scratching the color of the others by doing them this way. The smaller the rings are, the harder they are to close up in tighter spots. So if I can pre-close smaller rings, I normally try to. It just seems to help on everything, you know. If you're doing stainless or just straight up silver and stuff, you know, you don't have to really worry about that. But alright, we're going to be using the midnight as kind of our main color. The radical, what did I call it? Radical, totally rad pink. Yeah, I'm still trying to get used to the weird names that keep starting to come out with some of these colors, but they're kind of cool. They're kind of limited in sizes, so that's kind of a bummer. Be nice to get them all. I mean, they already have, like, you know, 20 different standard colors, and then they throw in mixes of these on occasion. I don't even think I'm in camera view now. I'm sitting here not even paying attention to what I'm doing. Oh, I haven't even looked over to see if I got any comments or anything yet. I'm getting so more and more used to it just working now, I keep forgetting to check out what's going on. We'll only be using a few of these as just kind of offset colors. I wanted to use these newer colors that I got in something, so this worked out decent enough for it, I'm hoping. So, we'll just go ahead and get this one open and start putting together. And it looks, in the picture, at first I thought they were just Mobius, these two first rings, but were on all pair rings. But then I looked closer and they weren't, and I was like, well, you probably could. And I might try one like that later on and see how that works out. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's going to be cool. And then you have your next ones goes through all three of these, but also the two bigger rings. That's where I thought I was seeing a Mobius at first on one of the links in the picture, because I did look around to see if there was make sure this wasn't a paid tutorial one. It was on the main website as an open weave, so I was like, well, we'll see if it'll work for us. Well, there should be room in there, I imagine. I can normally fit 4 through that size. Alright, what is it? Okay, there's that part of it. Well, it's a little more difficult than I was imagining it to be. There we go. Well, maybe if I flip it down next time. Like I said, a new weave, new way of learning. Flip back over. Because then this one goes... Okay. I've got a picture that I put over there. Up over, because it basically orbits the center color ring. The center silver connectors. It just kind of orbits around that side. Like so. I believe that's how it goes. Well, it looks like in the picture anyway. Now it's all silver in the picture, but then we go back to a couple of these and start the next chunk. I probably could have gone with 2 center connectors, 2 silvers. Might have made it a little easier, but it would definitely probably make that center a little looser. I don't know if I would want to go too loose on that. I'm planning on doing 2 on the square rings though, just because they're square, bigger gauged, and but I'm using a slightly bigger ring again, just trying to get to the proper AR that I'm going to need for that to work. Alright, then we get these 2 to come through. No, wrong way. I was like, boy, that seemed awful easy. Come on. 3 and then through the 2. First one seems pretty decent enough to get through. We'll have to see if we can figure out an easier way for that one. Well, I thought I was getting ready. Oh, there it went. Yeah. Alright, well, that was a little bit easier than the first time. It's just I had the rings laying weird. And then we put in our orbital. And back and through. Well, there's the second chunk. That's kind of what it'll get close with this. Looks the same both ways, I believe. Oh, I dropped it. Well. Alright, so yeah, just continue that then. Well, that's seeming fairly simple there. Not a whole much to it, and shouldn't take really too long now that just 2 chunks is at least 1 inch long. So get 8 inches, I need 16 chunks. Well, probably less, probably 14, because it is a little over 1 inch. Plus you got clasp to add into it. So let me see if I got any messages anywhere. Yeah, alright. I don't think I have anybody watching live. I'm not quite sure. At least on Facebook it doesn't look like it. Twitch, I don't know how to really tell. To be honest with you. I haven't played enough around with it in while it's running, because it's kind of, I don't want to spend time playing around in it when I could be chainmailing while I'm doing a stream, so I can figure out how all of it works. I'm getting better with it though over time. I do kind of play around with it on occasion, I guess. So alright, yeah, I think it'd be much harder to try to put the 2 groups together through. You close those up and then connect them with the 3. And it just seemed like it would be harder at first, and now just doing it the way I'm doing it, I'm probably right. I think it would be much easier this way. As usual though, like I said, normally the small rings, if I can close them and get them to weave that way, always seems better. Easier to get them closed separately. Here goes. But this midnight is kind of cool. I almost wish that they had it in more colors too. Is there? I could see it being a good mix with some blacks and purples, just because of the feel. Oh, come on. There we go. I put it through and then it just pops behind if I can get it to do that. It's one of those kind of weird. It's almost like tying a shoe. I'm not digging the full saw cut on these all that much though. Radical. Alright, one of the dogs going cuckoo over. Cats must be out there taunting them. Buzz is in here laying down. Hopefully I don't have to go out there and see what's going on. They don't bark a lot unless there's something going on. Most time though it seems like it's the cats just walking up the driveway, and dogs just go cuckoo on the other side of the fence. Excuse me. I keep reminding myself. There we go. It's kind of a cool weave, different, that's for sure. Again, it seems like on all these sized rings, must have been a time where they needed to change their blade on their cutter or something. It just seems they're not so smooth as usual. Alright, flip back over there, ring. I thought it'd be easier back behind, but I guess not. Alright. Oh, I see the problem. I only got it going through one, and I was like, why is it acting all weird? But then I only had it going through one of the, I did it again. There we go. I was only going through one of the midnights, and it was throwing off trying to get the second one to go through properly. I had that problem the first time, but after that it seemed to flip around alright for me like that. So I think you could probably Mobius these too if you wanted. I think there's enough room for that. Still seems awful weird there. What is the deal? I don't see anything wrong with it, just feels weird. But it's the same. They're going through the two, so it was just weird how those two rings just didn't want to cooperate properly. So for anybody just joining us, we're working on a ocean waves weave. This is again another one that I haven't done, so kind of digging the small project night, trying to find something new and different to try to put together. I kind of look at, some of these I've had pictures of for a while that I've been wanting to do, and so I'll just take a few and study it and try to figure out how I want to do it, and then we come and do it. Sometimes I've had to make a few changes in the way I'm weaving it while I'm doing it. But it's been fun trying to figure it all out. Get on through there. There you go. Make sure I get it through the proper way this time. And the other thing, a lot of these like to stack up on each other. I get long strings of them because they're all stuck together. I hate it when that happens, but I think it is better if I let that one lay down. I can get it through easier. I just had a problem that one time because of the one ring not going through properly. And that one went through really easy too. That was weird. Not going properly. Maybe more over here though. And wanted to flop off its orbit. Yeah. It looks pretty cool. Probably harder to see on camera, but I'm kind of digging it. Can make many different color combinations. I thought about just using all midnight, but then it would have been harder to see the orbital ring that is kind of just orbiting in there over the others. So, well, I'll just continue to go. How long do we got here? We're at about just under 3 inches after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chunks. So, shouldn't need a ton. Should be a fairly quickish weave. We'll need to close up some smaller ones here. On the next round, well, if you're all watching this later or you're here now, I am trying to get more likes. I'd like to get up to 300 likes and do a giveaway. I'll do a giveaway during the stream. Don't know what I want to give away yet. I have a few ideas, and I know I'm thinking about doing it at 300, then 500, and you know, if everything goes well and we can get up to 1,000, if we do get to 1,000, I'd probably do some kind of crazy or give away a bigger item. Who knows what it could be? It could be lamp, inlay. Who knows? That'd be crazy though if I did get to 1,000 likes and followers or whatnot, because that would be weird. But I'd appreciate it. You know, I'd take it. So send out the shares of it and let people know. Give us a follow. I was getting, well, that was way easier than any of them before. Maybe it's just I'm getting more used to it and know which way to flip it, or just one of those lucky times. I had to double check because it's like, man, that was just way too easy, it seemed. Yeah, I'm finding I can weave this through easier without my pliers. Just doing it by hand seems to, I think I'd have a more difficult time trying to use the pliers to weave it through. Yeah, I need to do some more little ones. I guess I could just do 3 at a time to make the chunk so I don't go too overboard. And I spent probably a good hour-ish or so, probably more about closer to 2 hours. After last night's streaming, I did a little bit more on the jelly cube, and then I gave it another probably a good hour and a half today. 10, 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there type thing. And got it to grow. It's definitely bigger. Daughter liked it better. She goes, and I like it better as the 6x6 than the 5x5. She said it just felt better and looked so much larger. Well, it was. I mean, had another 2 hours on top of the 3 hours that it already had into it. And so they were like, how big you can grow it? And I'm like, well, I just plan on keep growing it. I can make up the rings whenever I want, and run out, I can just make up more. They'll be the exact same, so it's like I'll just keep growing it. It's like when I can use two hands, and I gotta wiggle it like this, then maybe we'll stop. Oh. Alright, we have some of those now. And then it's been about an hour trying to look up this weave to see what quick information I could find. Took me a while just to find out the name of the weave, just because, again, it was just a single picture I had saved. Sometimes I'll come across those and I'll go try to find them later. Yeah, boy, that was super easy again. I don't know what it is. That was weird. Last two times. Oh, that wasn't the ring I was thinking it was. That's why. Definitely easier with less rings going through. Hey John, welcome back. Just got your stream notice. A few minutes till break. Listening in, cool. Good to see you. Yeah, my phone still hasn't gone off. Let me know that I got a stream going on. Used to do pretty good at it, but lately I don't know what the deal is with Facebook and let me know. You get my YouTube notices that there's one going on, but I don't get the Facebook ones as quickly anymore. I've missed the start of Joshua's over at Bracken Mails several times because of that. It's driving me a little bonkers. Wish they'd straighten it out. Come on. Yeah, these rings just don't like that closing area very much. Not all of them, anyway. Hope you're having a good day, John. Your work is going well for you. A long string of them again. Just got to open them to get them off anyway. Just get those few out and ready for this round. Got to put 4 on there. I don't think 4 would work at all. 2 would work. Might be a little looser. And I might give that a try on one of these and see how it works. Sometimes it might work good. You never know. It might be better. I don't want it to be too loose. It's already got a little looseness to it. Picture showing 3, but again, I'm not using the same ring size as they were, but at least close in the AR, I think. I think I'm running a little larger on one and a little smaller on the other, but well, let me check, see if I got any comments going over here. Now, come on. There he goes. I was just going to do a quick transition over here and we'll go from this camera for a few. See what happens. As I will, after we go into the long project starting next Thursday, I will probably be going down to just one camera because I'm going to try to do a time lapse of doing the inlay. Oh, that's not that. I'm going to try to really get more used to keeping the camera on every time I start working on it, and hopefully get a cool thing made up for it. We're going to try anyway. See what happens. So I will be cutting out the other cameras for the long project night Thursdays, starting next Thursday. I'm going to work on the jar cover tomorrow some more. I got a little bit done more on it since the last one. Not a ton, but some. And then I'm still going to work on it while I'm working on the other one long term when we change over to the inlay. But I want to get it finished up. Yeah, these rad pinks just don't like to get a nice smooth closure. Not digging that as much. They're not bad. Just some are more problematic to get them just right. The long strings of these, I hate that. I got 3 more of these left. Come here, I was looking over at the screen and couldn't pick it up. Durr. No, only going through the one again. And then I mobius it. Yeah, that's what it is. Mobius. And I want to try to see one of those closed captions, figure that one out. Mobius. What will it type for that? I still haven't figured out how to do that. I think it was Vicky was telling me that it would close caption me on mute or something. And I still haven't been able to do it. Find out how to do it. Sometimes I just start speaking gibberish just to see, once I do figure it out, to see what it'll actually put up there. More so just because the wife and kids, when they're watching movies and stuff, they like to have the subtitles on. Drives me nuts because I end up wanting to read the movie instead of watch the movie. And but they always have it on there. So then I was like, when Vicky said something about it doing that on mine, I was like, what weave am I? This is the Ocean's Weave, Ocean's Wave weave. Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of playing around this morning, looking around, trying to figure out something that would work within the size of these two Midnight and this rad pink that I got. Just trying to find something that would work with it. This wasn't exact, but it was close enough that I think it was going to work, so I went with it, and it seems to be working out all right. I'm going to try to do it in a square ring next. At least tonight, if not during the stream, depending on how long this takes. But I mean, I already got a pretty good chunkage going here. Let me see how long I got going. We're a little over 5 now, so I need to probably go ahead and put my little clasp on the end, and so I can get a better idea of that. I think I'm gonna put two silvers on the edge and in for the connector in the clasp area and see how that goes. Why am I opening these? I need to close them, dummy. Yeah, well, that's what I'm trying to do more on my Wednesday nights, is make something that I haven't really done. Some of them I've had variants of. The one I did, the Odin's Eye, it's kind of a variant of the Celtic. Oh crap, what was it? It is just crossing over your end rings, and so it was similar, but it was one I hadn't done. So I'm kind of enjoying looking around for some new weaves that I can do that are open source. I mean, there are others that I still want to do and that I will work on in the background, but they're paid ones. Well, like I say, I normally figure it out, and then once I figure it out, before I take it to an event or anything. I like to buy the tutorial, and then just see how close I was to figuring it out. Sometimes I'm right on, sometimes I'm pretty close where it's not really making a difference. And then there's been a couple that I thought I figured out, and there was a little few things that once I got the tutorial, it's like, oh, okay, this makes it a little easier here or something. Or mine was just a little off. It looks the same, but there was just a little tweak to it, so. So only with glass and make it large enough, yeah. Well, after I do a few, and I measure them out on my little measurer here, and once I do a few of the same weave, I normally got a better idea of how long it needs to be. You know, the flatter it is, the less obvious it is. But you get some of those more bigger square ones, thicker gauge and everything, you got to make it longer so it'll fit around. And yeah, I'm not sure exactly on this one since I haven't done it, but we'll soon find out. Yeah, normally I end up making mine shorter for some reason. Oops, I'll measure them on here and I'll get them up to, you know, where I'm thinking, you know, 8 inches with a clasp on one side already. I put it down together and I'm down at 7 inches. Oh, I think I'm now getting my message that I'm live. Thank you, Facebook. This is pretty decent weave. I think it'd probably still look pretty good in a solid steel or a solid color. At least that's the picture that I've got. It's all in, I think it was stainless steel in this picture. And eventually I'll probably do that too. But I like everything. I'll make it in colors and then add, either do it in stainless steel or I do like doing some bronze and copper. I don't keep a lot of it in stock. Normally I try to make up a few pieces before an event just to keep it nice and clean. I mean, I can clean them up too. I do have a few that I always have to clean up before events, but that's what happens with that style material. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 chunks. 5 3/4. Let me go ahead and get my clasp here. Go ahead and add on my clasps here. Get a better idea of where I'm at. Yeah, I'll probably need to flip back over my screen now. Transition back over to the top. Maybe I should, well, yeah, it's always wireless. It always goes to sleep on you. It drives me nuts. That actually worked quicker than I expected. Thought about doing a keyboard, but just don't have room for a keyboard over here. I have to, maybe I could 3D print some type of mounting system I could put onto the desk here, and maybe that would work. Started in galvanized, moved to copper. Yeah, that was kind of how I started. I didn't really buy anything. It was just random wire I'd find here or there just from whatever. I did a lot of soft copper. I mean, you know how that would, they don't work very well, but it was fun to do it, but it was easy to, bend them apart and stuff. So that took us up to about 6.5-ish. I add the clasp, so we'll go 7.5 for 2 more. We'll do probably 3 more chunkages and see where we're at. I guess still need to open it. I don't know. I got a box of something somewhere. I don't remember where it even came from. A friend gave me this box that had something in it when I was about 22, and it was 14 gauge blackened wire. I'm not even sure what kind it was. It was some type of steel wire. Hard, thick stuff, and I remember working in that. It was a roll, I think it was maybe 500 feet. It wasn't a ton, but there's enough to play with. That was one of the first bigger fun things I played around with. And then other times, like I said, it was just old wire I'd find and peel off the coating and curl it up. Yeah, yeah. That stuff was just so soft. It was easy and you could do quick stuff with it, but wasn't really. It was more in the learning phase too, so it was still fun. But yeah, it wouldn't hold up to nothing. You'd look at it funny and it'd break. That other steel stuff I had, it held up pretty well, but I tortured that stuff to no ends. I'd mostly make it to hold hanging stuff for painting and whatnot, and I'd just start putting too much weight on it and start pulling it apart, and then eventually just toss to the side and lose track of it. That's what happened to most of the early things before I really started getting into mailing heavily. And before I had digital cameras and all that, so I don't have any pictures of that. And the few pictures I did have, I lost. Damn hard drive, so kind of blows in a way, losing all that stuff. That's why I almost kind of miss having regular cameras that you get printed copies. Those could still get ruined too, but I don't know. Either way, you have issues, I guess. Well, the drumstick just caught that part. Yeah. Yeah, I've still got, I started a couple years ago. I coiled up. I got me, I don't even remember. There's a bunch of big rolls I got up at Lowe's and Home Depot. I think it was Lowe's. Lowe's or Home Depot, one of those two. And of Galvy fence wire. And I coiled it all up. I've still got a box of it down there. I don't know. I probably got 100 14-inch coils in there. And I probably cut up at least half of what I had at the time. And I was planning on doing an old school shirt with it. And then I just got so busy doing other things, I've never gotten back to it yet. I pull out that box on occasion going, man, I need to do this. Got better cutters now. It'd be quicker and easier than when I was first doing it. But I still haven't done anything with it. I will at some point. I did get a spool of black steel wire with that so that I could do some type of basic inlay. I was thinking of some type of Maltese cross or something on it, kind of more in the Renaissance style. I just hadn't coiled that stuff yet, though. I bought it after the fact, going, I wanted to add a little something to it, but I haven't done anything with it, coiled it up yet. I remember I coiled them up in 5/16. Is I think the size I went for that. Still a little small. I know I could have went bigger, but I do want to go some bigger and do some riveted mail at some point. I've been trying to find all the right stuff. I think I've got about half the tools I need to start doing that. That's one thing I really want to give a try, and I know it's going to be a lot more difficult and time consuming, but when I'm out at outdoor events and stuff, that's something I could do there too that I think people would enjoy to kind of see, the old school, real old school way of doing it. Well, to a degree, I mean, it's still modern-ish tools, but still doing it the same way for the most part. Where are we at now here? One more chunk will take us, yeah. I actually think I need a price stop right now. After I put 2 more rings on this in the end. I'm gonna say we're gonna be at about 7 3/4 inch bracelet. That's what I'm gonna say anyway. We'll see. See how close I am to my guessing. I'm going to take all those bracelets off there. I got a ton of bracelets I've been working on. I still haven't got them all. Well, maybe it'll be smaller than I first thought. Maybe not. Maybe I'm closer than I think. Just judging by what I normally do here. Take those off. See where we're at. Oh, I was off. Yeah, I need to go one more chunk, I think. Everything turned right around. And we're at about 7 1/4. One more chunk would probably take us up to 7 3/4. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw another one on there. I like them to be a little long, rather shorten them. At events, anyway, it's easier that way. I still take a bunch of rings with me in case, but there it is. It's just easier to take something out than add it in case I don't have, I can't take everything with me everywhere I go. Wish I could. I'd need a freaking 18-wheeler. Start taking everything with me. I'm sitting here reading. Do you have a collar or flat? Yeah, I've gotten one of those. Oh no, I did take it over to the other side. I did have it out over here just last week, I guess, before I was putting up some stuff and cleaning up. I got that. I got clippers that I'm going to modify. I have those ready to go to modified. I've made up my rig for holding the rings so I can get them hot and everything. I probably need to get a better hammer to do the flattening. Use steel tube and old axle shaft, flatten my over. That'd make it pretty easy. Now, I was gonna do the, who was it? What was his name? He was posting there, well, it's been a while. It's been a couple years. He was doing it and showing some of his work on one of the chainmail pages on Facebook, and he used a hammer and some type of punch to punch out the holes, and that's what I figured I was gonna try to do. I've got that video saved. I need to go save that or go watch it again and see exactly what it was that he was using on that. So that's what I planned on doing anyway, for getting my holes in them. Hans, that might have been it. It's probably been a good 6-7 months since I watched that video last time, because I was like, well, I got enough. I want to go ahead and get a few more items and get ready to do it. And yeah, he was doing it out at he was doing some streams there at events. I think it was. Well, no, I don't think they were streams, but he was at events, and he'd film it at the events he was doing. I don't know if they did one that had more detail. I mean, they were the little parts that I watched was plenty enough detail, but I don't think he had links to exactly what parts you needed to go buy to do it. So I've been kind of watching it and trying to figure out what those parts are, go find them, buy them. 30G riveted, holy crap. I don't even like looking at 30G just without trying to do that, I don't know. I mean, if you flatten it out, that might help a little bit, I guess. I think the smallest I've really done anything lately has been about 22, 20, 26. I guess I had some 26 wire a little while back. Anymore, I mean, I used to do some smaller stuff again when I would just find things like that, because I pulled the wire out of twist ties like bread, and I used to weave on those. And again, it was fun at the time, but I'm just getting too old for that. My eyes do not like that anymore. I could probably still do it, I just haven't done it in a long time. Yeah. I haven't done the biggest I think I've gone. Thickest wire was 3.5 millimeter thick. I think was the biggest that I've used that I could coil. I wouldn't say easy enough, but that I could coil with what I currently have in my setup. If I had a garage, I have some ideas where I could do bigger stuff, but I seen those big old coils you had a few weeks ago now, and I was just like, I was sitting here drooling. I might use that ring to put on that. Did I just put 2 on here instead of 1? I think I did. Got into talking and totally forgot, and I think I put 2 in. Sweet. Yeah, I kind of got 2 different, I started when I was 20. So I've been in about 30 years myself now. But sometimes I don't consider the first 15-ish as really... I was doing chainmail, but I don't know. Really wasn't making anything, not great, but I don't know. It was just a different time when I was just kind of useless material. But I guess I still considered it. But, 15 years got more heavy into it, and the last 8 have been... And we're right at 8, so maybe I guess I go glad I added 2. Just a little under 8. If I added 2, I don't even remember now. So, where are we at on our time here? 53 minutes. That was with talking before and he was starting, so that's fairly quick weave. What was my sizes on these? 18 gauge, 9/32 for the big one, so that actually worked out really well. And I think they were calling for like 11/98 or something in the picture that I have that I found on Nail Artisans. So we're done with that one. We're going to go ahead and try to pull out some of these 16 gauge square rings and see if my guesses have come good on that side of things. Closing up all my boxes here. I'm going to go with some yellow. Flip them around here. Sky blue is my main color, yellow as my orbital, and silver again as my connectors. Yeah, I love my calipers too. Always beside me no matter where I'm at. Either here, at the laser, at the 3D printers. I actually probably need a few sets. I actually have another set, I just need to get batteries for them. Always rather measure that way. So, I guess we'll just kind of start here the same way we did that time. See how a chunk works anyway. Hopefully it can go further than just a chunk. Since we're going to be guessing with using the square wire rings. Oh, I probably need to stand up though for a second. Yeah, for yourself, yeah. Yeah, I need to get batteries for the other one. It used different sizes than my main one. This is the one I've had the longest. I probably had it 15-ish years or so. Maybe even longer than that. Used to use it a lot for RC racing. Still use it for RC racing too. Then I got another set 7, 8 years ago. But the batteries I got are different in it, so I need to buy some. Alright. Quick stretch. The gluteus maximus is sore. That's hard to do mandrels, yeah. Yeah, and I've looked at them and I want to. I do want to, and that'll probably... I mean, I do want to get another set of electric ones too, but... I'd like to get a... We used to use those when I used to work out at the paper plate company factory years and years and years ago. That's what we used to measure our papers and stuff there. It was, yeah. Electrics, I think, would have been too hard to measure the paper. Those were a little small. They're about that big, but you could just one-hand it, quick it, put it around the paper, get your thickness, and be done. It's just, it is nice for digital just because it gives you a quick digital number. You don't have to, you know, read numbers the same. I mean, you can. I mean, I've done it, but older I get, the lazier I get. Just tell it to me. I want one that'll speak to me. Tell me what the number is so I don't even have to look at you anymore. Yeah, I normally have enough batteries sitting around. For my main one that I had, whenever I ran low, I used to just buy them in big bulk, put them in the freezer. They last me for years and years and years. I think last time I bought some for my main one was probably 6 years ago now. And I mean, I got to replace the batteries in them probably every 5-6 months, depending. Biggest problem is my newer one does have an auto shut-off function, which is nice, but my older one that I've got doesn't. So if I leave it on, I'll come back, you know, the next morning and they're dead. So I'm always constantly have to make sure it's off. And the other thing I don't like about my newer ones, though, is it comes automatically on when you just move it. And it's like, oh, I don't want you on yet. Just come on when I want you, you know, type thing. I don't know if that's actually going to be a big enough ring to be able to do this or not, now that I'm looking. Let me see how many I can put through easy enough. There's 3. Yeah, maybe so. I should be able to put 4, but I think that's going to be pretty... let's see here. Maybe not. I guess we'll go ahead and we'll try. See what happens. Yeah. If it didn't have the auto on, I would be alright with it. That's probably one of the reasons why I haven't replaced it, just because, you know. Oh, come on back. Alright, we're going to try and go with 2 on this. Maybe we'll try 2. If 2 doesn't work, we'll go with 1 and see if 1 works. See what happens. Gotta change it up, we'll change it up. Yeah, I think I should go larger though, because my difference between those... Yeah, I don't know. Now, what am I using now on these? Why? I I pulled out the wrong size to even begin with. Now that I'm looking, I thought I had 3/16. No, these are 3/16. All right. Yeah. Okay. Thought I pulled out 3/16. I was using 5/32 on the other one. That's right. Let's see here if I can get that through. Yeah, maybe there's not going to be enough room. Yeah, that might be too small of a ring there. I think I might have to go up a ring size on the silver connector. Maybe if I used round center connector. Let's. I don't want to spend a lot of time getting stuff out during the stream, but I'm kind of done with the first bracelet. If I want to continue, I'm going to have to. I thought this was going to work, but I think those are just too small, especially with both of them being square. Round might work. Let me get out my box. And let's see here. That was 3/16. Next square would be 1/4 inch that I have. I think that, well, let me check here. Let's see what does 1/4 inch. Sits inside decent enough. What was my difference on these two? 5/32 in it. Actually, that might be the best thing to do, is the 1/4 inch there. About the same kind of gap I'm getting. So yeah, let's try 1/4 inch. That should work. My first guess was wrong. Oh, but I don't have a whole lot of 1/4 inch silver. Well, that's 18 gauge. Where's my 1/4 gauge square? How much of it do I got? I got more. Alright, we'll try 1/4 inch square. Okay. Get the box back together. We'll see how that goes. If that doesn't work, we'll try something else. That's what I can do for hours at a time some nights, is try to figure out something. It won't work one way, I'll try other rings, try it that way, try it this way. So let's go in here. This will be definitely bigger. Check my other. I don't see any posts. Chunkier than that version for sure. But I just did that up over here where I know you couldn't see it, because I was like, hey, I can see. Still think I'm going to go with 2 though. I think 3 might be pushing it with the squareness. And we'll just get a couple made up since we're still unsure. I think this will work better though, like I said, after checking. Well, these are a bit bigger. Well, we'll see. Because I forgot that first one I pulled out was 18 gauge. Now I'm going to use 16 gauge. Kind of wanted to keep it the same as the big ones, since the big squares are 16 gauge. 3/8, yeah, 3/8 inch. 3/8 inch. We'll see. Alright, and this is the part where, yeah, oh, that went through pretty easy. This actually might not be too bad then. It seems like I do have a little more room than I did on the other ones I was doing. back over. They do want to stand more straight up, though. They don't want to kind of. They kind of want to. Now let's see if I can get an orbital in there. That'll be the big test, I guess, because it's going to be a pretty tight anyway. But it seems to be working alright. We'll see. Back down over to it. And that's the orbital on it. So yeah, I think that'll work. I'll go ahead and put a ring in for my. We're gonna go to the. I might have to pull back out this 1/4 inch. Actually, I probably want to stick with the other small ones I used at first as my connectors. Will it be enough for the edges? Yeah. And then I can use one more. I'll probably have to use a round though, so I don't think that'll go through my. Let me grab a clasp. Let's see if it'll go through my clasp or not. Got fairly decent sized holes on my clasp, so it might go through. Not, we'll just grab a round one. Yeah, it goes through. So, get some clasp on there. Yeah, it looks like it's going to probably work alright. Yeah, I was just totally off on my first guess. Again, there's really no good way to measure an AR in square rings, so that kind of have to change up what you do and think about when you're using square wired rings. I think if I would have tried to put 3 inside there just wasn't going to be any room at all left in there. It's already a little bit tighter. Marbles. Going cuckoo. Going trying to find her play mice to play with. Well, this will even take less. Rings being so much bigger. Check my chats. Okay, see anything? Put another orbital. It's definitely becoming quicker and easier to do the more I've done it. But that goes about for everything once you kind of get more used to it. I kind of part I only hate about the square rings. Sometimes you just have to tweak the wires a little bit more to get them right where you want them. Here we go. But again, I'll just welcome anybody that might have joined us since we've started. Hope you're having a good Wednesday. If you're watching us later, you can still make comments. I'll see them. I'll come back. I'll still chat with them. Just trying to remember to say that a little more often. And you can find us over on Twitch and YouTube. In case you're not getting notifications, like me. Figured I'd get the first notification to say that I'm live instead of, later. Probably could have gone with a bigger class since these are bigger clasp. Since these are bigger rings overall, but I've got them three sizes. I got one that's real small for my more dainty 20, 22 gauge stuff. Medium ones here I'll use down to 16 gauge or down to 18 gauge. And then I've got some larger ones that I'll use normally for these. But it does kind of also depend on the piece. Some of them, sometimes it doesn't look right. I want to use a smaller one, but they're all just stainless steel. I'd much rather, it's mostly all I use is stainless steel class. I'll use silver if I'm making a silver piece or whatnot, but otherwise I want it to be decent enough to hold up. There we go. I was like, what is wrong there? I did use some other types of lobster class at first, and I just didn't like them. They weren't as heavy duty, it seemed like, and stainless steel, I don't have to worry about tarnishing up or anything. Some of those other metals, you know. I got some powder coated ones that I do use on occasion, depending on the colors. Sometimes they don't look all that great. I forgot to put my 2 silvers on. Oh well. I guess I can do it now. I guess this is the way you do it if you didn't pre-close them. Which I guess wouldn't be too bad. I thought it'd be closer to the rings. But if you do it right here, you're okay. I think it'd be harder trying to put the 4 all together at once there. Alright, we just gotta go up through and through, yeah. Alright, so I can do it either way, obviously. Each way is probably about the same speed. Now that I've done it that way, it's not as close as I was thinking it was going to be, so it'd be less likely to scratch up anything. These bigger rings, it would be harder anyway to do so. Because these are more of the bigger monsters I'll use for the anodized. I've done some bigger stuff in the stainless steel just because, you know, bike chains and then want some bigger, chunkier bracelets. But I haven't gone too much bigger. I've made several Byzantine 12 gauge men's bracelets, welded those up. Just kind of getting into a groove here. This weave has definitely become a lot easier since I first started. But that goes for any weave. Once you do it enough, you'll figure it out and things start going smoother. It's about like doing the jelly cube. It's definitely getting quicker and easier the more I keep working on it. Especially on the expanding sides now, trying to get it out because I'm over 6 by 6 now. Because once I started really getting into the groove of it, I was like, well, this is a lot simpler than I was having a problem with at first, remembering where I needed to start, blah, 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 blah. I still use my stick one. I just end up putting 3 welds on it to get full penetration all the way around. I don't remember my settings. I had them written down in my book. They were pretty high up there to get good weld on it. A little pencil weld or whatever you want to call those things. I mean, you could probably use the same thing that I got, the things from TRL. I didn't get mine from them, but it was the same principle as that. So give it a tumble. It looked good afterwards. That's another one of those. Oh, stop! Heartburn. It was another one of those group pictures that I lost that just drive me nuts. Before I was doing Facebook or anything like that, and had them all on hard drives, and I was gonna lost them shortly after I started doing the Facebook pages and stuff with this stuff, and that's when I lost the hard drive. And I was like, right before that too, it was like, well, I'm getting ready to be posting all this stuff up, and so I, well, and I already thought I had a backup going. So I've been pretty religious on looking at my backups anymore. I noticed the other day I started having a problem every other night. For some reason it wasn't backing up every other night, so I had to get in there and change up the settings on it, because I was saving too many. Not necessarily too many, but it was more saving. I have it saved every night, and then you can save so many days back. I've saved I keep one, the very first one when I first did everything. I've got that one as a backup. Then at 6 months, I have a backup that's a permanent backup every 6 months. And then I have the daily. And I was just using too much of my secondary drive for my saves of the backup. So I had to go through and change that up so I could get back to daily saving again. Because some days I do add quite a bit into the into the hard drives when it comes to all the video that I've done and everything. Yeah, I think mine was a 300 too. I'd have to look at it again. That's why I ended up going someplace else, because when I started looking at them, I was comparing the wattages between theirs and other ones that were out there, and I was like, well, there's more powerful ones out there. And that's why I ended up going somewhere else than getting TRL's version of it. We're at about 5.5 now. I guess I should have showed it. Using the square wire here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull it out. I haven't used it in, I'm trying to think of, it was probably about 3 months ago, right around Christmas, I guess. So I guess, yeah, this year's already starting to fly by on me. Yeah, it was shortly right after Christmas was the last time I used it. Since then, I was kind of, normally January and February are a lot less off on doing a lot of chainmail stuff, just because there's no events going on. Everybody's kind of shopped out. It's not till March or so I normally start picking back up and getting into things. And then I had the Chiefs flag. That took me, several weeks, a couple weeks to plan, get the supplies in, and then to get it made. But that's why I'm kind of doing all this now. It's working out rather well to get stuff ready for our next events. And then we start back up here in just a month. I think will be our first event of this year. Of the last 2 years, since we couldn't have any events last year. I know we've got and we've got another one already lined up for September something. There's a few others I'm looking at, trying to get dates in and finalized, and I don't want to push too much out there, as I don't want to start sending out checks to get into all these events and then something crazy happen. I'm kind of being a little tentative on that part. I always am, though, when it comes to events. They scare me. When you got to pay money to do them, and they just scare me, because it's like, I want to at least cover my costs for doing it, but, the more I'm out there, the better. So it's always one of those catch-22s. And then the bigger the event, the more they cost, and it's like I'm trying to gauge more so on what's foot traffic going to be like. There's a lot of people going to be ready to get out, I'm sure, but there's going to be a lot of people that want to kind of stay back because of the bigger crowd. So it's one of those. Well, I need to close this up. What do I want to do? How do I want to play it? I don't want to go too headstrong into it like we were getting to before pandemic, but I also don't want to lay back too much and find out things are going better than I expected and missed out on them. So first couple are just the ones I've done that since I first started. I like going back to their smaller events. Well, the one is, the other one's bigger. There's definitely more people for it. It's a 3-day event also, so I do enjoy going to it. Ooh, check real quick. Where are we at? Hour and 20 minutes. That's good. Maybe I can. I don't know. Closing up that quick might not make it, but we'll be getting pretty close to finishing up this one too. I'll measure after I get my orbital in and see where we're at. Definitely getting closer. Probably coming out of picture there. I'm gonna make an extra tweak on that one. Where are we at here? That takes us up to 7. So I'll get a couple more chunks in here. Probably need to be a little bit bigger, longer overall, just because it's going to be wider and thicker. Note the sky blue and the yellow doesn't look too bad together, actually, too. I always worry about my colors. Mix the yellow almost looked like the lime, almost in a way. And I'm trying to throw together different odd colors here lately just to play around. Show off more of the colors that I can do, have at events. Used to have a hanging thing that had all the different color rings and stuff on it that I would use, but it kept kind of changing up so much through the years. It was kind of a pain in the butt to keep the board chart up, so now I just try to keep enough stock of everything in all, at least something in those colors so people can see the different colors, and if they ask what's that look like, it's like, well, I can pull out this bracelet and say this is the color it is. Something to at least still show. Plus the board was getting a little overgrown with some of the other scales, and then you have, you know, your titaniums that are anodized and stuff. It was like, this is getting a little crazy here. I need to figure out some other way of doing it. So still probably not the best way. I'm sure there's a better, easier way. I might eventually figure it out. Who knows? That's just what I do for now anyway. Yeah. Even though they seem a little bit tighter in a way, they just seem easier, and it's probably just because they're bigger rings. Just easier to see, maneuver, etc. What did that take us up to? We were at 7. This is 7.5. Oh man, I'm gonna add one more. I think we might be a little over 8 though. We'll see. So one more chunk. Where are we at? Air 24. So yeah, we'll finish this up before we close down the stream for sure. even if it takes a few more minutes than an hour and a half. And it'll just put us at 9 o'clock anyway, so yeah, because that's when Mailworks would normally be on. I'll be glad when he gets back to going live. I'm missing his streams. Alright, used to kind of kicking back for you after doing my stream and watching his stream. It was kind of relaxing. It's like, I just got done working, now you do some work and let me watch. At least for part of it. Sometimes I go grab something to munch on while I'm watching it, and then by the end of it I'm back to doing at least a little bit of mailing. After I get done with the stream and stuff, it's always good to take that quick little break, but then I'm always like, oh yeah, I wanted to go do this, or I want to finish that, or mostly here lately on the Wednesday nights I come back so I can make the bracelet again in a different size or color, more to get ring counts and time. So I've got at least 3 of every bracelet that I've done here the last month of these new weaves. And then, like I said, trying the odder different colors, combos, just to play around, have some fun. Oh, wrong way. So, I think this is where we're going to stop this one, put on our end, and see how it clasps up. I think we should be good, though. In a way, I kind of like this a little bit better, and maybe it's just the colors, because you can see them differently. But I still like them both. This one's definitely brighter. Alrighty, so we'll use a big and then a small. As for Class B. Oh, there we go. That's the bracelet. Our nice new pretty. Just gonna clasp up here. And then go give her a measure. Sure got it all laying the right way. So yeah, we're just a little under about 7 3/4 again. Just barely hanging over the 8, so right in the middle of that's about our 7 3/4. So something like that's normally when I just add on a little quick one here. If they need it just a little bit larger or smaller, I might take out one. But if they needed it to be an inch or so, I'd take out the whole section. But there we go. That's tonight's make on the short project night. End up making 2 Ocean Waves bracelets. Different sizes, different gauge rings, different style ring. So that's what we did tonight. I hope you all enjoyed it. And, we're going to go ahead and close up shop here. So we'll be back tomorrow night for the long project night for one more week of it before we flip over to the inlay. Give me a drink. Kick back for a second. So if you're watching us live, glad you were here. If you catch us later, glad you're watching us later. Like I said, always just stop in, leave a comment. It can be on one of these or just normal post. But hope you all are having a good Wednesday night or whatever night it might be you watching this. And we'll see y'all tomorrow night. Y'all have a good one. If I can get my mouse to work. It was just working too. Maybe we'll have to stay here all night. There she goes. Now you took forever to wake up that time. Alright, now we're good to go. So we'll see y'all tomorrow night. back out the coral for that. Alright, buzzer boy. Gonna have to wake you up.